Ladies and gentlemen, today on the program, an apology. So here's the deal. My guest today is Monique Stellenberg. She's dynamite. She's from Toronto. She's a world traveler. And I met her in the airport lounge at Pearson International Airport in Toronto. What I thought was in 2017, and so you're going to hear, when our conversation starts, me say to her, "You know you're in my book, right?" And she's going to get really excited about that, because who wouldn't be excited about being in the guy's book? And so I planned to read to you that passage from November, A Month in Europe with Sarah Smith, published in 2018, which was my 2017 tour blog, edited and with extras. And that was going to be a really fun intro to this episode, and so I'm thumbing through my copy of November, and in fact, the only copy I have on me is the, I guess it would be the galley proof. It's not even a real copy, it's a mock-up. That doesn't matter, although I should probably have one, don't you think? The point is, I'm thumbing through for the references to Monique, and I'm not finding references to Monique, and I'm freaking out because I told her she's in the book. Monique is not in the book, and there's a reason why Monique is not in the book, and the reason is I did not meet Monique in 2017. I met her in 2018. Okay, couple of things. A, not that young. All right, so can you cut my memory some slack? B, I've now done 3 tour blogs, and if you've read any bit of any of them, you know I'm getting some interference here, and it's driving me crazy. What is that? Stop it! We are a very professional podcast. I want you to remember that. I've done 3 of these tour blogs, right? And that amounts to 30 plus entries in each one, and the stories all run together. And I had it in my head that Monique was 2017. She was not 2017. She was 2018. So I apologize, Monique. Yes, I'm another one of these guys who can't deliver. I talk a good game, but when it comes down to looking at the books, no Monique. So I apologize, Monique. What I can give you is a couple of passages from the 2018 tour blog that reference today's guest. So I'm scrolling through my website. All this stuff is still on my website. That's john-huff.com. Click on tour blog and you'll find it all there. And it makes for some fascinating reading, especially if you've got a couple weeks off over Christmas, or you're going on a flight. You want to read something along the way, or I need to make an an audio book. Would anybody be interested in an audio book of my European tour blogs? That's just a thought. Anyways, here's what I had to say about Monique. And I'm looking, and okay, here we go. This is from the first entry in the 2018 tour blog. It says, "I'm amazed by how much laughter follows this band. Not just among us, but among the people who come in contact with us. For example, the lady behind the airport check-in counter who has the cutest head I've ever seen. Parenthesis, not face, not smile, head. She was laughing as she charged Sarah for her extra bag. The girl serving us drinks in the boarding lounge, who now follows us all on Instagram, was laughing with us too." I can't do an audiobook. I'm a really great reader. Okay. I play the drums a little bit, and I sing a little bit, and I write reasonably well, but I can really read. And I just stumbled through all of that horrendously. And it's what happens when they put a microphone in front of you. If I was reading this to you in person in my little studio, no issues. Here I am trying to talk to you. It's just such an unnerving thing. To put a microphone in front of me, I fall to pieces. It's a real problem. The girl serving us drinks in the boarding lounge, who now follows all of us on Instagram, was laughing with us too. The girl serving us drinks was Monique in the boarding lounge. Now, I had more to say about her in the next entry titled Amsterdam. Here's what it says. I find that when you're out there chasing the dream, you run across other people who are chasing it too. In yesterday's post, I mentioned the girl serving us drinks at the airport lounge. Her name is Monique, and she's a gorgeous firecracker of, I think, South African heritage. She was awesome and bubbly all on her own, but then she told us that she's leaving her job this week to live her dream and travel the world. She was excited, and we're excited for her. Okay, that was Monique, and she was dynamite. I remember sitting in the lounge. I can't remember what year it was, but I remember doing it. And this girl was just going around serving drinks, laughing, having fun with people. This really engaging, bubbly, really energetic personality. And you don't forget people like that. And we got to talking to her. And so we found out she was doing this. She said, yeah, next week I'm quitting my job and I'm going to travel the world. Boom! And I love that stuff. I thought it was tremendous. And I did not forget. And then she followed us on the Instagrams. And I followed her, and I kept keeping an eye on Monique. Was she actually going to do this, or was she just talking? The next thing I know, there's pictures of Monique in Spain and outside the Taj Mahal, and she's here, and she's there, and everywhere she went, and she did it. She did 9 months on the road, and she went out there to find herself. And you can find her on Instagram at FindingMonique2. And you can see some of the photos we talk about in this episode. But I never forgot Monique. And when I launched this podcast earlier this year, I thought, you know who's inspiring and who would be fun to talk to again? Monique from the airport, to tell us all about her travels. And so finally, here she is. And I got her on the phone. I got her on the Skype. And you know by now what that means in terms of audio quality, but we do our best. And we got Monique, and I was delighted to talk to her again, and she told us all about her travels and this process of finding herself by going out there on her own and taking on the world. Really super cool and inspiring. And, you know, it's timely because we're late December now, mid-December. 2020 is on the horizon. A new decade, kids. The Roaring 20s. And, you know, people will be looking at their lives, and they'll be looking at New Year's resolutions, and they'll be looking at things they want to do and accomplish. And there's going to be somebody out there who's like, I really want to travel. I don't know how to do this. Monique is the inspiration. Monique is the evidence that it's possible to do that. She saved up her money. She said, I could spend this on X, or I could go out there and travel and do what I want to do. And she did it. You can do it. I'm grateful to Monique for sharing her stories with us. Now, I don't know how many more episodes there are going to be, this year at least. This is probably the last interview of the year, although I'm hoping to get a rotisode. That may happen. If it doesn't, then this is it for the decade. And I'm going to tell you now that I'm thinking about making some changes to the show. Now, I've said from the beginning that this is an evolution. And we've done 30 plus now episodes, most of them interviews, and they've been great. And I've really appreciated the feedback, and I've been grateful to the people who've been on the show. And now I've got probably a couple of weeks or more where a potential rotisode notwithstanding, where I can step back and take a look at all of this. It's like coming to the first checkpoint in a video game, you know. You hit save and then you take stock and you breathe. That's where we're at with the John Huff podcast. I jumped into this thing with 2 feet, with no plan. I just knew vaguely that it would probably be an interview show because that's what I've always done, is interviews with people. And we'll see where it goes. we'll see what happens. I'm going to do some thinking over the next couple of weeks and try to figure out what I want to do with it. Between now and then, you're going to listen to the great Monique Stellenberg, intrepid world traveler, a great personality and a great character. If this is my last introduction for the year, or at least pre-Christmas, let me wish you the merriest. Happy holidays. Whatever your personal greeting is, I hope you have a wonderful time. I hope everyone's safe. I hope everyone stays warm. I hope everyone gets all the presents they want. And I hope you enjoy this conversation with the wonderful and ebullient Monique Stellenberg. And hey, Denny boy! Roll intro! Hello, you're listening to the John Huff Podcast. Oh, yay. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
And hear you. So, you know you're in my book, right?
Really?
Uh-huh.
You I'm so amazed, really. What's your book about?
So, when we went on the tour in Europe in 2017, I wrote a tour blog the whole way, right? Every day. And then we published that tour blog as a book in the early part of 2018. And as you were part of the story, you are part of the book.
That's so awesome.
Yes.
Okay, I gotta get your book then.
Yes, we'll get you a copy. We'll get you the book, don't worry.
Awesome. Yeah. I'll have to show everyone.
See, this is the impact you have on the world that you don't even know you're having.
It's really, I don't know this. I just think I just go through my everyday life.
Yeah. So the last time I spoke to you, I believe was Halloween of 2017.
Yes. Yeah, I was working probably that day, yeah.
You were working at the airport in Toronto.
Yes, at the airport. Toronto Pearson, yeah. I think it was the breakfast place that I was working at, Heirloom.
I don't remember.
Heirloom.
I
remember where you guys are sitting now because I'm remembering the day.
Are you?
Yeah.
So I was with the Sarah Band and we were flying to Amsterdam for our first tour of Europe. And our waitress, our server at the lounge was this wonderful, vivacious girl called Monique. And you told us that you were quitting your job to travel the world.
Yes.
And I did. I thought that was amazing. And then when I launched this podcast, I thought, I need Monique on the show because I need to know what happened.
That's so awesome.
Yep. And here you are.
I am. Yeah. I'm back now. Yeah.
How long were you gone?
I was gone for about 9 to 10 months, I'd say.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was gone for about 9 to 10 months. The only reason I came back was because I started being homesick.
No.
I started missing my family and I started missing just the feeling of being with people that I know. Because being out there by yourself, I mean, it's great. It's amazing. But you can get homesick real easy.
I bet you can.
If you don't have somebody with you that you can just kind of that just knows what you're going through in your head. Because you're experiencing all these new things, right? And sometimes you just need that feeling of home. And it was very hard for me to get that because I ended up in Maldives. That was my last stop. I ended up there and I was in this it was such a dingy type of hotel, but it was amazing though. Outside of it was amazing. Inside was just so dingy and I was just I gotta go home. I can't do this anymore.
Really?
Yeah. So after that, I ended up going to South Africa and I stayed there for 3 months. And I was I don't have anything to do. I'm going to stay here.
How do you go and stay in South Africa for 3 months? What?
Well, I'm South African.
So I didn't know that. Oh, I knew that.
Yeah.
I did know that.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have family there. So I was I have a bunch of family. I can go stay there and I can jump around with a bunch of family. So I just did that for 3 months. Okay,
let's go back in time. Did you grow up in Toronto? Did you grow up in that area?
So no.
Okay.
I also have like a big growing up story too.
Please tell us the growing up story.
So I actually grew up in, I was born and raised in South Africa.
Okay.
Until I was about 14 years old.
All right.
And then my parents decided to move to the US. They started teaching in the US with this program called VIF. It's like this internationally exchanged program for teachers.
Okay.
So they took teachers from everywhere in the world and they kind of brought them to the States. And it was great. So we ended up going a year later with them after they had like set up everything and whatnot. We came and met up with them. And then we stayed in the States for about 3 years. Then after that, they wanted to come to Canada, but the process was too long. So we ended up going to England for another year.
Oh,
so
wow.
So we stayed in England in Ramsgate, Kent. It's like an hour outside of London.
Okay.
And that was really nice too. But the only problem there was it was always gloomy. They all wore the same color. And so for me coming from South Africa, being like all this colorful nation, going there, it's like, dang, everybody's wearing the same color clothing. It was just too much for me. So I wanted to leave, but my parents and my siblings loved it. So anyway, we ended up leaving anyway. So we came to Canada, and then this is where we ended up. Oh yeah, that's what you asked. So we ended up here in Canada after a journey of maybe 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So journeying is in your blood.
Yes, it really is.
Yeah.
I get it from my parents.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting because I wondered where this idea came from, because I don't think you just turned up at work one day and said, I'm leaving next week.
No.
Like, what's the backstory to
of that?
This trip, yeah.
Okay. So it's actually because I broke up with someone.
Uh-oh.
But it happened. So I met you guys in was it August?
It was October. Halloween,
October.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, so I met you in October. So that February, the same year in February, I went to Bali.
Okay.
And I had the most amazing, because I was hopping around. I went to Thailand, then I went to Bali, I went to Malaysia in that same trip. It's like a month worth of me traveling. And I just had the most amazing time because I met all these new people. I found that I was more myself then than I ever was when I was at home.
Really?
So I was like, maybe this is kind of what I need to do for now. And so I went back. I came back to Canada, and I was at work, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, there's just no way I can hold out and continue working at this job day in, day out. So I decided, how about I just go on a world tour for a year?
As you would, sure.
As you would, just a normal decision you make. So I decided that February when I came back, I was like, I'm just going to work my ass off for sorry, am I allowed to curse?
Oh, please do, yeah.
Okay. So I decided I'm going to work my ass off for another 3 or 4 months, and then I'm just going to quit. But then in, was it March? Yes, in March, my grandma in South Africa passed away.
Oh, no.
So that kind of put like a sting in my plans, but that also motivated me more to do it because I was like, life is so short.
Right.
Because I was planning to go home and visit them, but then things happen, and that pushed me even more. But then I also decided, let me go home first. So I went to South Africa first. It took a whole big chunk of the money that I was saving, but I decided I'm still going to do it anyway. So it left me with like 3 or 4 months more to just work and save. And I ended up doing it. My goal was to save about 12,000. I ended up saving just under 11 grand.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't care. I'm not going to wait any longer. And I just left and quit. I think I quit that same month that I saw you guys, actually.
I think you told us you were going the next week. Like you were there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I quit that same week, probably. Yeah. It was a really scary time for me.
I bet.
I was going alone. For like 9 months. And I had never done anything like that before. Every other time that I had traveled with a friend or with my family. So this was my first time going to be by myself the entire time. It was scary. I'd say that.
Was it?
I cried.
Was really? Did you?
I cried.
Was it important for you to go alone?
I wanted to do it all by myself because I didn't want to have to depend on anybody else. I didn't want anyone to be like my safe space. I didn't want to have someone there when I was feeling overwhelmed or when I didn't want to plan something or when I didn't want to look up something. I didn't want that. I just wanted to have to do it all by myself. And I did it. It was hard, but I did it.
That's amazing. So, your first stop was South Africa? It wasn't your first stop. You were back from all that.
My first stop was actually in Spain.
Right. I saw a lot of Spain photos. Why Spain?
Yes.
Why Spain?
Because in Spain, because I had promised my cousin from like, how long has she been there? She's probably been there like more than 10 years now. And I promised her for like 5 years ongoing, I'm going to come and visit you. I'm going to come and visit you. And she was like, I'm not even holding my breath anymore. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to show you that I can do it. So I did it. So I went to Spain first, and I've always wanted to see Barcelona. So I was like, it just works. It works. So I went to Spain, and I spent a month there with her and her family. And then I left them. And then I started like my little European traveling journey.
I saw photos of Rome.
Yes, I was in Rome.
Athens, I saw photos
Yes, I was in Athens. Oh, Athens was great. Athens was a little scary too.
Really? How come?
Yeah. So I think they went through a recession. I don't remember when it was, but it couldn't have been that long ago. They haven't fully bounced back. So I met this guy in Rome, and he went to Athens as well the same week that I did. So we met up in Athens, and he actually came and got me from the train station. So I got off the airplane and then took the train, and he was like, "Oh, I'll meet you up and I'll take you to your place because it's a little scary." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, wait till you see it." So anyway, he picks me up and everything, and we go. And he takes me to my place, and my place is fine. The area that I lived in was fine for me. I didn't feel scared at all. But his area that he was living in, so if you look down on his like balcony, I don't know if I took pictures of it and posted it, but if you look down on his balcony, there was like people taking like drugs, and they were like doing crack in the alleyway.
Oh, wow.
It was weird. It was a little out of my comfort zone because I'm used to not being around things like that.
Right.
But yeah, it was a little out of my comfort zone. But other than that, Athens was beautiful.
Yeah.
And plus, I love like the whole mythology of like the gods and whatnot. Right. I loved that in school. So for me, it was amazing. I loved learning about it.
Okay. Back to Spain. We're gonna bounce all over the continent, all over the world here. But
yeah,
you're in Spain for a month. Had you been to Spain before?
No, not at all. Never been to Spain.
What was your impression of Spain?
Spain is... I would retire in Spain.
Really?
Yeah, I would definitely retire. It is so peaceful. The people have their own way of life. It's just... okay. So Monday to Thursday, you go to work like normal. It's a normal week. But what I love about their days, in the middle of their day, they have this break that they take. It's called a siesta.
Right.
And they just all come home and go to sleep. And I was like, you do what? So for me, getting used to that was a big change. I was like, wait, so you break up your day and then you go back to work? And she's like, yep. Then we go back to work and then we come home and then we take the kids to like their activities and everything else. And I was like, I don't understand this. In North America and in everywhere else that I've lived, you continue your whole day and then you go and do whatever else you need to do.
Yeah.
But no, they just break it up and they're like, yeah, because you need that rest time. You need to eat and then you need to sleep your food off. I was like, that is amazing. We need to bring that everywhere in the world.
I've seen this in lots of places in Europe. Like,
right?
We tour around and 2:00 in the afternoon, doesn't matter where we are. Like, well,
it's dead.
It's either dead or the cafes are packed.
Yes.
The town square is packed. And we're like, do these people work? They're certainly not all musicians. What?
Right.
But that's like a European thing.
Yeah.
It seems that they value that way more than we do.
Yeah, they really, really do. And another thing I noticed was on a Saturday and a Sunday, usually everyone meets up with their family.
Hmm.
They're all at a cafe with their family just having lunch. And
Yeah.
that's their it's a normal thing. Nobody is like against it. You don't go meet up with friends or anything. You meet up with your family.
Interesting.
And then afterwards you go and meet up with like friends and whatnot. But I just love that they value that time that they spend with their family members every single weekend.
Yeah. What are you doing day in and day out in Spain? You're there for a month.
So I had also decided that I wanted to start this YouTube channel.
Right.
So while I was there, I was like doing little videos here and there. I was also my cousin's husband had like these bikes that they would take riding around. So I would take a bike every day, and like I'd set up my day kind of like this. So I'd wake up, I'd like do some workouts, make myself some food. Then I take the bike. And I'd go for like a long ride, and I try to do like a different pathway every day so I can see different places. I take a long ride, and then I come back, and we'd have our siesta.
Of course.
So I like eat with the family, and then we take a nap. So me and my cousin would lay in bed, watch a sitcom or something, and then go to sleep for like an hour, and then we'd wake up. We'd wake up and then take the kids to their activities. So that would be like my normal weekday routine.
Yeah.
And then on the weekends, they would take me out to like different beaches or different places to see different things, which was really great because they allowed me to see a lot of places in Spain while I was there.
Oh, yeah. It's so much different than being a tourist.
Yes.
Like you're living, in a way, the Spanish kind of life. You're embedded.
Exactly. And that's honestly what I wanted. I wanted to be like, let me feel what it feels like to live in a different country for a little bit.
Right.
So that's why I did the long-term staying there.
That's great.
Yeah.
We get a little slice of that too. We're not traditional tourists when we tour over there. We're seeing different places than tourists go to, you know?
Yeah.
A whole different perspective on things. So you hung around Spain. Did you know where you were going next?
So while I was in Spain, I figured, okay, let me decide on what European places I want to see.
Sure.
So the month that I was also spending there, I was talking a lot with people trying to find out where should I go? Like, what's a nice place to see that's not very, because I didn't want to do touristy places.
Right.
But then Athens and Rome, I was like, I need to see those two places because.
Right.
Yeah. But then the other places, I didn't want to do it in the touristy way because I find that when you do it in the touristy way, one, you're spending a lot more money.
Sure.
Two, it's the same things you're going to see on Instagram and Facebook and all the other social media sites. And three, you're not experiencing the culture of the people.
Right.
So that's what I wanted to see and I wanted to go for. I wanted to be amongst the people kind of thing.
Sure.
So when I was there, I decided, okay, let me jot down a few places that I think I want to see. And then while I was there, I planned out where I was going to go next for the next month. So in the month of November, I decided, okay, this is going to be what I'm going to do for this month. So I spent the entire month traveling Europe while I went after Spain.
Okay.
And then after that, I went back to Spain for Christmas. Because I was like, obviously, I want to spend Christmas with my family.
Of course.
So I spent it with them for Christmas. And a Spanish Christmas is completely different.
Really?
I tell you that. Yeah.
Oh, tell me.
The food is completely different. It's not like a feast how we would have it. Like you'd have that one dinner and that's like our feast. No, they have like courses and like little snacks and stuff the whole way through. And to me, because I was so vegetarian at the time, it was so hard because I couldn't eat half of the things that they were serving.
Right.
Because Spain is a lot of meat, a lot of pork, sausages.
Sure.
Oy. And then on top of that, a lot of shrimp. I'm allergic to shrimp.
Oh, no.
So it was horrible. It was not horrible. It was hard. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard to eat there. Yeah, it was good food, though. I will say the rice.
I spent one Christmas in Japan, and that was interesting.
That sounds amazing.
Because they don't really do Christmas there. They've picked up somewhat on the commercial aspect of Christmas. So let's buy and sell things, but not, I mean, they don't have a Judeo-Christian background whatsoever.
Yeah,
so
no.
Legend has it, and I didn't see this with my own eyes, But they got Christmas so backwards over there that one department store had Santa Claus nailed to a cross.
That's amazing.
I didn't see it, but I totally believe it.
I do too.
Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah.
What was Barcelona like?
Barcelona. If you are in your young 30s, it is amazing.
Yeah.
I just feel like the nightlife, even the day life in Barcelona is just something that you can't compare it to. Like, you can't compare it to LA. You can't compare it to a New York type of lifestyle. You can't compare it to any, cosmopolitan kind of area.
Yeah.
It's just no comparison to it because it's very laid back, yet it's very lively.
Okay.
So everywhere you go, you're always seeing cafes and people, and there's always people selling things. There's markets.
Yeah.
There's something to do for everyone.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. There's something to do for everyone. And on top of it being like a city, it's right next to the beach. So like you have both of it right there and there. I would move. That's one place I would move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of photos of Barcelona, and it looks breathtaking.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh man. So you spent a month poking around to different places. So was that when we did Rome and Athens, etc.?
Yes. So the November would have been when I was doing the Rome, Athens, Barcelona. I did do Amsterdam, but I only spent like 3 days there.
That's plenty.
And it was it was actually outside of Amsterdam, the city. It was just outside of it. So I got to see like the windmills and the big shoes that they make. It was really pretty and a different side of Amsterdam. I would say that.
Did you get to spend any time in Amsterdam?
Yes, I did. I took a day, and I was like, you know what? This whole day, I'm just going to go to Amsterdam and walk around. So actually what I tried to do in every city that I went to was take a free tour of the city. Okay. So that's where they'll explain to you like how the city came about. Yep. Important dates for the city or natural events or just things that, you would like to know about the city or that people don't generally know about the city. So that's what I did for Amsterdam. It was freezing cold.
Oh, it would be. Yeah.
I will say that because I went in the worst time I think you could go to Amsterdam. It was cold. I was freezing my butt off. My nose was like red at this point. But it was really nice because the guy that was doing it, he was really young and he was explaining all about, because a lot of people want to know about like the drugs in Amsterdam. So he explained a lot about how the whole drug thing came about, the marijuana being legalized. Right. So he explained a lot of that. And to me, it made a lot of sense why they have it. And I think they don't have a lot of crime there either. Yeah, he was explaining to me that the crime there is really, really low. But it's because all these things are legal. When it's legalized, people don't do it as much as when they're told not to do it.
Well, you don't have to do illegal things to get it.
Exactly. Right? That's the thing. So it makes it. I think it's easier and it's healthier option because then it's also regularized by the government and people can't put different things in your marijuana or whatever you're using. Sorry.
It is Amsterdam after all. Yeah. They've managed to turn drugs and prostitution into tourist attractions there, which I think is an amazing accomplishment.
Right. If we could do something like that, that would be. But then again, I think if it comes over here, I don't think it's going to work as well as it's working over there.
They have more practice than we do.
Yeah. They have more time.
This all takes time. So you did Amsterdam. You went to Rome. You went to the Vatican. Did you go to the Vatican City?
I did do the Vatican. The Vatican was really pretty. I will say, if you ever go to the Vatican, make sure you go either not too early, because if you go too early, there's going to be a lot of crowds.
Did you see the Pope?
No, we didn't get to see the Pope.
Bummer.
He wasn't there. He wasn't there when we were there.
So is Vatican City within Rome or within... How does this work? I don't understand.
So it is, but like you have to walk. So, okay. How how do I explain it? It's just a walk outside of it. So we didn't want to take a taxi or anything. We were like, let's see the city and let's walk around. So we decided to walk from like inner city, the heart of Rome, to where the Vatican was. And it was like a 20-minute walk, I'd say.
Okay.
And with that 20-minute walk, you get to see like a whole bunch of other places too. And the architecture in Rome,
right,
out of this world. Out of this world. So it is nice to see it, but it is a walk. And if you're walking on like a very hot day, you're going to burn.
I bet.
But if you're walking on a cold day, you're going to freeze.
You're going to freeze. You're going to get sweaty.
So it's like a give or take.
You can't win. Are you a Catholic?
No, I'm not.
So there was no special religious significance to this.
No. No. I just wanted to see it.
Oh yeah, when in Rome.
Exactly. When in Rome.
Yeah. So, I mean, your travels were so extensive that we have to kind of jump over everything.
I know. There's like jumps. Okay.
You went to Athens.
After Athens, I did Malta.
Tell me about Malta.
So Malta is like this little small island just off of the coast of, is it off the coast of Greece? I think it's off the coast of Greece. Yeah. Oh, I have like a map right in front of me because where I scratch up. Yeah. So I scratch off like the places that I've been and all that. Cool. So I think Malta is right underneath Greece. It's like a little continent, little country there. It's a very small population of people. The flight I took actually from Amsterdam because it was cheaper taking the flight from Amsterdam than it was from anywhere else.
Okay. So
it just worked out that way. I was there for 7 days, I think. Yeah, I stayed there for 7 days. I only paid under $200 for the place that I stayed in. Under $200, and that's dollars, not euro.
Wow.
Yeah. The thing about Malta is I would say if you go to Malta, ride the bus. It's really easy.
Okay.
Everyone is so friendly. You can ask anyone for directions or anything and they'll help you out. The city isn't very populated during the off seasons, but during the peak seasons, it's booming. It's a booming city.
Okay.
But during off seasons, it's actually really great because then you get to walk around and there's not that many tourists and you get to see a lot more places because they have a lot of museums and that. And doing the museums, they even give you, there's a lot of like discounts that you can get if you're doing it off season though. So I was lucky because I was there during off season. So I got a lot of discounts and I got to see a lot of the museums. And in the museums, they have these, where they play you go to each station and it plays you the voice and it basically tells you a story.
Okay.
How Malta was formed and all the wars and stuff that took place. But Malta was really pretty and really cool.
7 days.
Yeah, it's 7 days. I know.
Oh, wow. Good for you. So then, how did you find the place that you stayed at?
Airbnb.
Oh, really?
All my places, I did Airbnbs.
Okay.
So I look at the reviews.
Right.
Always look at your reviews. Because sometimes when you book a place, you don't know how far it is from like the places that you're trying to see. Mm-hmm. So I read all of the reviews. And also she was very helpful. The lady that I stayed with, she drove me around certain days when she was off. So I got lucky.
Oh, very good. Yeah. I mean, because you never quite know, right? Like this takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, it does. I didn't realize it did, but it really does.
Sure it does. And you're flying solo here, literally. So
yeah.
Wow. So you did Malta.
So I did Malta.
Then what happened?
And then I went to, is it Amsterdam? Oh, no. So I did Malta to Amsterdam. Sorry, I got that wrong. So I did Malta to Amsterdam. Then I went to Amsterdam, did Amsterdam for 3 days. Then I went to Portugal.
Ah.
Because I figured before I go home, let me go do Portugal. It's right next to Spain.
Yes,
so
it is.
I'll just take a bus ride home. So I went to Faro. It is a very small town by the beach in Portugal. The population is made up of a lot of older generation. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So it's very quiet, but it is like it's a port like city basically. Okay. So everywhere you go, you if you want to see different places, you got to go on the boats. So they have like these little boats and they'll take you everywhere on excursions and whatnot. So that was pretty too. I did that for, how many days was I there? I think I was only there for like 3 days. Yeah, 3 days. So I only stayed there for 3 days.
Okay.
And then because there it was kind of, it wasn't expensive, but I didn't want to spend too much money because I had a few more places that I was going, and it was big places. So I only spent 3 days there, and then I went back to Almeria.
Okay. Back in Spain, Christmas time.
Yes. So, and then it was Christmas time.
Yeah.
Spent Christmas there until, when did I leave? I wrote all my things down in my little book.
Good.
So I left there. I think I left and I went back to, then I went to South Africa.
Okay. Went to see your family in South Africa.
Yes. So then I went to South Africa for a month.
Okay.
And I stayed there with my family. The reason I went back there was because my cousin had given birth to my first niece.
Oh.
And I was like, I have to come and see her because she's not going to remember me. I don't live there. I need to go see her.
Yeah.
So I went back, and unfortunately, I fell stupidly in love with the little girl. And that made me, this is the reason why I went back after all my other travels.
Really?
Yeah, she was definitely the reason why. So after South Africa, that was when I had my plans to go to India.
Okay.
So in February 13th, actually, we went to India. I met up. Sorry?
Who's we?
So I met up with, there was four other people that actually are from Canada that I used to work with at the airport. Okay. You might have seen them at the lounge, but you wouldn't have known. So it is.
Okay.
They were around there too. So it was 2 other girls and 2 other guys. One of the guys actually was from India, and his brother was getting married, which was why we all kind of grouped and was like, can we come? So we all just kind of went to his brother's wedding. But we figured while we were there, we can travel around and see India. So we did the Taj Mahal. There's this, I can't remember for the life of me. I've been trying to remember this beautiful castle type place that we went into, and they have this light show that they have every night, and it is the best light show I've ever seen. Barcelona has a light show as well, and it doesn't come close to this one.
All right.
It is amazing. If I find the name of it, I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay. Because
I think people need to see this place. We also did the lotus flower. And then we did his wedding, the guy's wedding. And we felt like celebrities because they haven't seen Black people ever. So they were all trying to take pictures with us the entire night. I don't know if I posted a lot of pictures of this night, but it was like, I felt like I was a Hollywood star. Everybody wanted our picture. Everybody wanted our Instagram, our this, our that. And we're like, did we just suddenly walk into a Hollywood movie and we didn't know? But it was nice. And then it became annoying because we just kind of wanted to dance too. And they wouldn't leave us alone. But I figured, you know what? It's one night. Let's enjoy it. Let's have fun.
Oh, yeah.
And the food in India. Oh, as a vegetarian or as a previous vegetarian, it was a dream. I could eat anything and everything that they had there. Yeah. They had so many options, more so for vegetarians than they did for meat eaters.
Sure.
So for me, it was amazing.
So you traveled, how long were you in India? How long did you travel around there?
In India, we were there for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
So after the 3 weeks, we went, so we were like basically kind of inner city India. It was more so, my mind is blanking. Anyway, so we left inner city India, and then we went to Goa. Goa is like just off of the side. It's kind of near Sri Lanka, I would say, but it's like the beach area. It's the most famous beach area that they have in India.
Okay.
And me and 2 of the other people went there, and we decided to do was it a week? I think it was 5 days. It was 5 days. We spent 5 days there. I loved it. It was much better than India, I'd say, because the air there is it's like smog. You can't breathe properly. Yeah. You feel like you're just breathing in dirt. That's actually what it feels like, and all the time. So for me, I got sick a lot in India. I got sick maybe 3 times while I was there.
Wow.
So every week, basically, I was sick. And it didn't help the enjoyment factor at all.
No.
Yeah. So for me, India was kind of a little bit of a disappointment, I'd say. But the places was amazing. The food was amazing. The people, women were great.
Yeah.
The people at the wedding, great. Men, however, not so much. For women going, I would never go to India alone. I would never advise anyone to go alone. It is not the safest place for women to go by themselves.
Okay.
Not just that you don't feel safe, but you aren't safe. Because at any time they could just, I'm small. You can take me at any time. Like, you just grab me and you can go with me. And right now, with how they're talking about the human trafficking, don't. I would not suggest anybody goes there by themselves. But if you have somebody with you, it's great.
Okay. And then you moved on to, Taj Mahal you went to?
Yes, we did the Taj Mahal. It was the most amazing place. Oh, I have some great pictures there. The air there was so bad, but they actually have to clean off the tiles. I think they close it down every year to clean off the tiles so that it doesn't stain the tiles because it's marble.
Right.
So I learned the one fact that I actually took away from there was that they close it down to clean off the tiles every year, which was like, wow, it is huge to be cleaning off every single tile. But yeah, they take good care of that place.
Great. And then you went to Sri Lanka? Was that next?
Yes, I did. So after that, me and one of the guys. So as we were moving on, it trickled down. And one left every single week. So by the end of the Goa trip, another girl left, and she went to like Singapore, I think. She did Singapore and Tokyo. But we left and we went to Sri Lanka. We stayed in Sri Lanka for 3 weeks. Yeah, we stayed in Sri Lanka for another 3 weeks and traveled around Sri Lanka.
Tell me about Sri Lanka.
Now, I would say, this is probably an unpopular opinion, but it's my opinion. If you want to see like Asia, I'd say, not Asia, but like that Asian continent, I would say, go to Sri Lanka instead of India.
Okay.
It is a more upscale type country, but it's still very cultural. Like, they still keep all of their cultural roots. So their food is still very unique to them. They don't make it very modernized. They haven't modernized or westernized their food at all, which is amazing because you get to eat all the things that they used to eat and grew up eating. The attractions, however, have been modernized and have been westernized. So the pricing is very, very different.
Okay.
Like, for instance, my friend, he's Sri Lankan by birth. He paid, I think, was it $5? He paid $5 and I paid $25 to see the same. It is called something. Let me get my phone because I want to tell you the actual name of the places now.
Okay.
I have it on my phone. Oh,
why is the price different?
The price is different because for visitors, for the people that live there, they also go and see the natural places. But for tourists, they're like, no, you have to pay all of this money. I don't know. I guess it's just a tourist thing. I just want to find this place. Let me see.
We're sifting through Monique's phone right now, trying to find this.
We're trying to find pictures.
Wonderful photographs, which you can find on her Instagram, by the way.
Yes.
Finding Monique.
Finding Monique 2.
Monique, why not? Why 2? Was there another Finding Monique?
Taken.
What?
Yeah, they took it. I don't know who took my name.
They're all taken.
Every name. Oh, let me show you my India pictures. I don't know if you can see that.
I can.
The Taj Mahal.
Yes, I see that.
And then people told me that it's photoshopped, and I was like, yeah, it's not.
I've seen that one too.
Yeah, these are my favorite pictures, definitely, by far.
I need you to send me the Taj Mahal one, like the big file, not the Instagram file.
Okay, I will. I will do.
Okay.
I'm going to send you the best one that I think I have.
Please do.
But yes, let me find you the picture of my, it's called Shingle.
I believe you.
I can't pronounce any of these words because they're not in my native tongue.
They are not in your language.
Yes, not my native tongue. Yeah, Sri Lanka was amazing. We also did the bridge that everybody loves so much, and it is called UVA. It's UVA.
Okay.
And it's this bridge that everybody goes and takes a picture at.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big tourist attraction that we did. Well, one of the tourist attractions that we did. Because I told my friend, hey, I want to do a few attractions, but I don't want to do all of them.
Right. He
planned out a 3-week itinerary of us doing something literally every day. I had to be like, at some points, I had to be like, listen, I know you want to show me everything in your country, but I can't do it. Oh. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it anymore.
Well, you had been traveling for a while at this point, right?
Exactly.
Like you'd been around.
I'd been around for 4 months at this point.
Right.
So, and they had just come to travel with me, right?
Oh, they were all fresh.
They were fresh meat, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, you were all hardened at that point.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard.
What happened after Sri Lanka?
So after Sri Lanka, after Sri Lanka, he left, and I stayed another week, and his family was actually nice enough to tell me to stay with them because I was gonna just go to a hotel and be like, I'll stay at a hotel at the beach, and his family was like, "No, not at all. You're staying with us." Mind you, his aunt and his uncle could not speak English.
Oh, really?
So it was only his like cousin, and his cousin was at school most of the time. So I was staying with his like mom, who would come and wake me up at 8:00 in the morning and be like, "Breakfast is ready."
Oh, how sweet.
So she would feed me breakfast. Then we would leave, and she would let me like be for like an hour or two, and then she'd give me like lunch, yeah. And then it was like another 2-hour break, and then I'd have to have tea with cookies, and then after that another little break, and then we'd have dinner. But it's like she would dish my food, sit it on the table, and sit next to me, watch me eat.
Oh no!
And I think this was like their custom or something. Like they make sure that you eat. They definitely make sure you eat. So we did that. So after that week, I left and I went to the Maldives.
Oh, wow.
I figured the Maldives was close by and it's going to disappear in a few years. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to come back to the Maldives in a few years. So I went and did the Maldives for a week. So I was telling you the Maldives, the hotel there was so dingy.
Right.
I had thought that I booked like a nice, just one room. I just needed a room with a bathroom. That's all I needed. It was literally a closet space type room and a bed. And there was a TV that didn't work.
Great.
And just a bathroom. And that's all I had. That's it. So I was like, okay, so I'll only sleep here and leave. That's all I do. Now you have to remember, in the Maldives, there's no smoking, there's no drugs, there's no drinking, nothing. It is really? A dry country.
Okay.
Oh yeah. When I got there at the airport, the guy stopped me and he was like, so he was questioning me, where are you coming from? So I was telling him, oh, I'm coming from India. No, I was coming from Sri Lanka. He was like, so, but where are you from? And I was like, well, I'm from Canada. I'm originally South African. I live in Canada. And I've just been traveling for a while. He was like, why are you traveling? And I was like, why am I being asked all these things? I have a ticket that says I'm leaving here in a week. I'm not staying in your country. I promise you. And he's like, yeah, well, I still need to ask you these questions. And I'm like, okay, fine. He continued to interrogate me for about 30 minutes. And at this point, I was like, listen, do you want me to leave? What do you want me to do? I don't know what to tell you anymore. I'm just traveling. But I guess to them, this was like a foreign concept of people just traveling around. So he actually brought another person there to interrogate me for another 20 minutes. So I was standing there for like a 50 minutes of this interrogation going on about why I'm traveling around the world and where I'm getting my money from. I told him I just saved. I don't know.
Is this a foreign concept? Like, can they save there? I mean, is this a thing?
I don't know. I don't know why it was so weird for him to. He couldn't grasp the concept of why I'm traveling around. He was like, but why are you doing this? I was like, well, I want to see different places. He's like, but why? I don't know what to tell you anymore. I really don't know what to tell you. I like traveling. I like seeing different places. I like meeting different people. So this is why I travel. He's like, well, when are you going home? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going home. I'm still traveling. Yeah, it took me a while to get out of that office. At some point, I was like, do you want me to go home? I'll go home. I'll just leave here. I'll leave the country. And he's like, no. I don't want you to leave. I want you to stay. And I was like, okay, you're not acting like that.
You do look pretty suspicious. I thought that right off the bat. She's up to something.
And on top of that, I was making like jokes. I was trying to make light of the situation, making jokes with him. It was not cutting it. It was not cutting it at all. And that was the only place that I got interrogated like that. Nowhere else asked me any questions.
Really?
Nowhere.
Very strange.
Even in Spain, staying there in Europe itself, staying there for 3 months, no one interrogated me. No one asked me any questions.
No.
They didn't even ask me when I was leaving. They just, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Same deal. We arrive in Amsterdam, and they don't care.
No, nothing.
Welcome. Off you go. And then, of course, in Europe with the Union, you just suddenly you're in another, like if you're driving down the highway, all of a sudden you're just in another country. Wait a minute.
Know.
Border? Anyone?
Nothing.
Nope. Okay.
I don't think they care in Europe very much about people traveling through it. But I guess they're used to it by now because there's been so many things with traveling in Europe. It's been a thing for years. So. Well,
for centuries. Yeah. But so you're in the Maldives. Then what?
So after the Maldives, that's when I decided. So I said to myself, when I'm in the Maldives, I'll decide what I'm going to do next. Okay. So it was either going to be going to South Africa or going to Spain or going home.
Right.
And I didn't want to come back to Canada yet. I wasn't ready yet. I didn't feel like I had completed what I needed to do yet. The main purpose of me going by myself was to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. And I also kind of wanted to go on this journey to find myself.
Finding Monique.
Might say. Yes, finding Monique. So I didn't feel like I was done yet. So I was like, okay. It costs $500 to go to Spain, and it costs $500 to go to South Africa. Spain uses euros, whereas South Africa uses the South African rand, which is like 1 to 10, which is doubling my money in this side.
True.
Here I'm going to spend double the money. Here I'm going to spend much less.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? Let's just go to South Africa. I have family. I have enough money to suffice me while I'm there. I can travel around if I want to. I can do whatever I want there. So I decided, let's go home. And I went home to South Africa. I decided while I was there, my parents wanted me to go and look at places as well. So I actually, while I was there, I went to go buy a place in Durban, which is right by the beach. So I did that. And then I also took a vacation to Durban. I took a vacation to, what's it called? It's called not Northern Cape. Basically, it's the drylands of South Africa. And it was the most amazing vacations that I've taken because it was so peaceful out there. It was so hot. It was nice and hot. And if I had chosen to come to Canada, it would have been while you guys were still getting snow. No, so I was not. Good. It was no good to me. My whole purpose of traveling was so that I could be hot everywhere I went.
Mm-hmm.
And I was. And it was perfect.
You said you went to buy a place in Durban?
Yes. So we actually, I think once you grow older, you kind of realize that you are always going to be attached to your home country. So I'm realizing that now as I'm growing older, and my parents are also realizing that, I think, because when they came back just recently from South Africa, they just went this November that just passed, and they came back and they're like, yeah, so we're going to retire in South Africa now. And I was like, so when did you guys decide this? They decided it right when they just went, because when we had bought the place, they were like, okay, yeah, this is where we want to end up. And I agree with them. It's amazing there. So I'm actually going back next year to go buy a place by the beach as well.
For the rest of us, South Africa has a reputation. I mean, tell us, is that an overblown reputation, or what are we missing?
You know what? Let me ask this first. What reputation do you think South Africa has?
The reputation I think it has is that it's a dangerous, violent place.
Okay, so I would say it is, but so is Dominican Republic, so is India, so is Brazil, so is most of the places that people actually vacation in. But because they have the all-inclusive places that people can go to, people feel safer.
Oh, yeah,
but that's
for sure.
It's just not the case. As a traveler, you have to understand if you're going to a different country, you're going to have to adapt to that country. Yes, there's violence. Yes, there's crime. But that's in every single country that I've been to.
Right.
You just have to know where you're going. You have to be vigilant about what you're doing. You have to be conscious, and you're always having to look around. Like you're not at home. So you have to be very, what's the word? When you're more aware, being aware. That's the thing. You have to be aware of where you are. If you're going to go to a dangerous area, be aware that you're in a dangerous area and that you are a tourist. If you look like a tourist and sound like a tourist and act like a tourist, they're going to treat you like a tourist.
Right.
But if you don't, and if you're just kind of like seeing what's around, or go to the tourist areas then. If you're going to be touristy, go to the tourist areas, taking your pictures and doing all of that. But in the areas that are not as safe, or they tell you they're not that safe, just be aware of your surroundings. That's all it takes. Because for me, I didn't have any problems. And I sometimes did things by myself. So I didn't have any problems. My parents and my family members were always like, oh, Monique, you can't do this. You can't do that. I'm like, stop telling me what I can and cannot do. If I'm doing it, then leave me alone. If things are supposed to happen, it will. If it's not, it won't. That's just how I see it.
I see. So what's great about South Africa? Correct this impression for us.
South Africa is full of life. South Africa has some of the best sunsets, and I'm a sunset person. I love a sunset. South Africa has some of the best skies in the world, some of the best weather in the world. We don't get any natural disasters at all. Like I'm trying to think of like one that I can think of. No. We've gotten snow once, and it was like a few flakes. That was the biggest thing that has happened in South Africa for natural disaster.
I bet you they loved it.
They did. They absolutely loved it. Everyone was outside playing in the snow, which was like it was flurries. That's all. It wasn't snow.
That's awesome.
But yeah, the people in South Africa are so welcoming. You always have your bad seeds, but majority of the people want tourists. They want people to see our country. They are begging for you to come and see our culture and learn about their culture. Because there's so many. We have about 13 different languages in South Africa.
Wow.
And those are the national languages. Like English, Afrikaans, then there's Xhosa, Zulu, Xhosa, Tswana, Setswana. It goes on and on and on. I know English and Afrikaans, and that's it.
You know Afrikaans?
Yeah, I speak Afrikaans at home with my family members.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So like my dad knows like four or five languages. My grandma that passed away, she knew about 10 languages.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's such a multicultural country, and it's so beautiful. We have whales. So the place that we bought our house right now by the beach, we actually have a whale watching station right in front of it.
Oh, wow.
So during the times that you can see whales, I think it's around I want to say either November or it's in August. One of those times you can see whales at that time. And you just stand out there and you see them all the time. We have dolphins. We have sharks. We have shark diving. There is everything in South Africa. I'm so mad because I didn't do any of them.
Well,
and I want to do them so bad.
You're going back.
I'm definitely going back.
See, what the audience can't see right now is how lit up you are. I can see it. But maybe they can sense it from you, you know? So
I hope so.
So did you stay then in South Africa, or what happened after that?
Oh, so I stayed there for so I ended up staying for 3 months because I just didn't feel ready to come home yet.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I was doing a lot of journaling and I was doing a lot of writing because I had all this time on my hands and I had nothing to do with it. So I was doing a lot of journaling and I was doing a lot of soul searching, and this is more of my spiritual side of things.
This is important.
And I was just trying to, yeah, it is, I think so. And I was kind of trying to find what I wanted to do with my life for what my next journey was going to be. So the reason why I took this trip was to do the 30 by 30.
What's that?
So 30 countries by the age of 30.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm actually at 26 right now. So I came back when I was at 26 and I was like, yeah, I'll finish it before the year is over. And then I came home and I was like, and I got a career. So now I'm kind of like stuck between planning out when I'm going to go on my next trip, because I have to do 4 countries in like a week span.
Go to Europe.
You
can do them in a day.
Europe. I've already done Europe.
Yeah, but you can do 4 countries in a day.
I know, but which countries? I need advice. I need advice on the 4 countries that I need to do now. I was thinking to do South America because I figured, they're closer together too, but I don't know how the traveling between the countries are going to be like. So I was thinking Argentina, Brazil, Peru, and Panama, because those are the ones I haven't done yet. And I loved Costa Rica, so I might kind of go back to Costa Rica. It was my favorite country of all places I visited.
Really?
Costa Rica, yeah. Costa
Why?
Rica and Bali.
Why Costa Rica?
Costa Rica, the people.
Yeah?
Definitely the people. They are so friendly. They're so welcoming. They're fun people. And it seems like their whole motto of life is pura vida, which means pure life. Just living life. So they enjoy life every single day. And that's kind of what I want to do with my life. I want to enjoy my life every single day. I don't want to miss anything. But then I also don't want to work too much. But then if you don't work, you don't have money. So I want to do all of it in one. And I'm trying to curate my life in that way. So for the next few years, I figured, okay, let's do the career path and see if that is going to work out. If not, we go back to the traveling part. So that's why I am. And Costa Rica was one place that I was like, if I'm going to buy a place to settle down in, and it is in Canada or South Africa, it has to be Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Canada's too cold. We know this.
Exactly.
Right?
But I want to spend 6 months here.
Yeah?
At least 6 months in Canada. Yeah, because I've made a life here and I have a lot of friends here.
Okay.
I have family here. So I figure I can't leave Canada now.
So
I have a citizenship too.
That's true. So you came back from South Africa to Canada, or were there stops along the way? Yeah? Okay.
No. After that, I was like, all right. My parents were calling me every week and they're like, so, decided on coming home yet? So I was like, all right, fine. I'll come home.
So
and I came.
The great question is, did you find Monique?
I did. I found her.
How do you know?
Because I'm much more confident in myself. I am confident in doing whatever. If I want to do something, I just go for it. I don't care what anybody says to me anymore. I don't even care if my parents are doubting. My dad will still say something like the other day I was trying to carry a box and he's like, oh, you can't do it. I was like, Dad, don't tell me what I can and cannot do. he just looked at me like, okay. So I took the box that I carried and I was like, yep, I can. So now I just do whatever I want.
Lots of people say they want to do what you did, right? Few people actually do it.
Yeah.
So what would you say to people who have this dream?
Do it.
Yeah?
Just literally just do it. Put a plan into place though. If you want a specific number that you want to save, write it down. look at that number every day. Think about that number all the time, because I believe in manifestation. If you can manifest anything into your life, if you think about it all the time and it's on your mind all the time, and you actually talk about it like it's happening or like it's about to happen, it's going to happen. Because this trip that I told everybody I was going to take from February, I was like, yeah, I'm going to quit my job. I'm just going to do it. And people were like, really? Oh, I don't know. You're going to go by yourself? And they were doubting me every step of the way until I actually quit and left. People were like, no, you're not. No, never. Not you by yourself. You've never done it by yourself. Nobody's done. No. And then I was like, okay, watch me do it.
Watch me do it.
It was a big motivator for me just to show people I can do it.
Yeah. And why should people do this?
It honestly helps you grow yourself.
Yeah.
Like, just by yourself, and you learn how to spend time with yourself, and you start liking yourself even more. That was a big thing. You start loving yourself so much more.
Really?
You find different qualities about yourself that you're like, oh, I never knew I could do that. Or, oh, I never knew I liked that about myself. Or, oh, Monique, look at you being so out there, so social. You know, I would do like every night I would come home and like to my hotel, and I would sit down I'd put up a camera, because I find that me talking to like a camera or anything in front of me helps me just talk about whatever. And then later on I'll watch it and I'll be like, wow, look at the growth. Look at the growth.
Interesting.
So you grow so much, so much. I'll tell you why I seen a growth. Before I left in October, I was going on interviews. And these interviews were like for very small jobs. It was just for serving jobs and bartending jobs and stuff like that. It wasn't anything big. And I would go to these interviews and I would think I was very confident. Mm-hmm. But then how I presented myself, because one of my girlfriends that got me an interview asked her manager why he didn't hire me. And he said she just didn't seem very sure like of herself. She was just all over. And I didn't feel it from her. And my friend was like, how is that even possible, Monique? I talk to you all the time. You are the most confident person that I've ever known. You are the most outgoing social person. How is this possible? But it was because my whole esteem was it was broken down. I didn't feel like myself. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was unsure about the next path that I wanted to take. I didn't know what career path I should go in. Everybody used to tell me, Monique, you're going to be so successful in everything that you do. And I was like, how? Where? Yeah. Where are you guys seeing this? And after this trip, I realized it. I realized, hey, yes, you can do anything that you want to do. People see it because it's actually there. You just have to realize it in yourself.
That's wonderful.
And that's what this trip realized.
That is wonderful. I can think of no better place to end this conversation. See, it was easy, right?
It was.
I told you.
It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, but it was just like kind of me and you having a conversation. So I love that.
I feel very lucky that you happened to serve us drinks that day.
I'm so lucky that I served you guys. Who would have thought I'd be in someone's book?
And now on my podcast.
Yeah. Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah,
you're amazing.
Now you are amazing, and that's the universe telling you that you're doing the right things.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You actually made me feel so great today.
I'm glad, and you made me feel great, and hopefully you will inspire this audience to reconsider what they can do.
Take a trip, do it, just do it.
Just do it.
Don't tell everyone about it and then do it. That's all you got to do.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I hope to talk to you again soon.
I hope to talk to you soon.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank you once again, gentle listener, for taking in today's show. And thank you to Monique for being such an inspiring guest. If you want to know more about Monique and the rest of my guests, go to www.john-huff.com. That's JOHN-HUFF.com. You can also find the show on Facebook at The John Huff Podcast. If you're an Instagram person, you can find me at JW_Huff. If you're an Apple Podcast person, please do me a big favor and leave a rating and review of the show, preferably a positive one. You can also help me out a lot by sharing these episodes, either via Facebook or Instagram or wherever you share stuff. And much appreciated. That's all the time we have possibly for this decade, but I'll be back very soon. Until then, keep your wits about you, and remember, good things happen when you put yourself out there. Bye for now. The weather outside is frightful.